Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sarvashastrabdhi Piyusha Sarvavedaika Satphala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadhya Sarvalokaika Drikprada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabho Kalidvantodita Ditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Paramananda Pathaya Premavarshi Aksharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume Madeka Bandho Mat Sangin Mad Guru Man Mahadhana Man Nistaraka Mad Bhagya Madananda Namostute Asadhu Sadhu Tadayin Atini Chochataraka Hana Mancha Kadachinmam Premnaratha Kantayo Spura Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So my humble obeisances to all of you. Meeting you after quite some time. I had taken one unit in first canto, and then many different devotees had been taking different units. So again, now I am back in third canto to take this particular unit. So actually this was scheduled on a prior date in the first 2 weeks of this month, but I had lower severe back pain. Severe lower back pain. So that's why I could not take that session at that time. So I'm thankful to all of you that although there was a date change, all of you agreed for this change of the schedule in terms of the date. So now in this particular unit, we want to cover chapter 9, 10, 11 and 12, continuing the discussion from where we left off in the last unit. Radhika Vallabh Prabhu took that. Okay, so how we'll go about is I will discuss a few verses, like 3 or 4 verses, and about 40-45 minutes. About 40-45 minutes I will discuss, and then we can have some question answers. And we can also have a break at 12 o'clock. We will have a 7 minutes break for Gayatri. And then again, we will continue the discussion. Again, have some discussion and question answers. So I'll prefer to complete a few verses and then only take questions, because yes, it will complete a certain thought process also when we are going through certain verses. So this is how we will proceed. Okay. So this is the third canto, and this is chapter 9. So as you are aware, third canto primarily talks about the topic of Visarga. Although in Tattva Sandarbha Srila Jiva Goswami has said very clearly that we don't have to ascribe a certain topic out of the 10 topics to a certain canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He says that all the topics are present everywhere. But still there is a nyaya called Pradhanyena Vyapadesha Bhavanti. Pradhanyena Vyapadesha Bhavanti. By something which is in a large proportion, the name is received based on that. Like you will say, Kashi or Varanasi is the city of Pandits. So not that in Kashi everybody is a Pandit. There might be some fools also. But then you say that Kashi is a city of Pandits. It's a city of learned scholars. Because many are learned scholars. So this is called as Pradhanyena. Pradhanta se Vyapadesha Bhavanti. Pradhanta se Naam Bante hai. Vyapadesha is name, Abhidhan. So the names are given based upon Pradhanya. What is there in the great proportion. Prachurya. Like that. So like that, if you see in Bhagavatam, the particular canto ascribing being ascribed with a particular topic is only by Pradhanya. What is Pradhan? What is the chief topic that is being discussed? Otherwise, there is Poshanam, there is Sarga, there is Visarga. In this canto also, there is Sarga, there is also Visarga. Visarga is the primary thing. Third and fourth, Visarga is the primary thing. Second canto discusses primarily about Sarga, while third and fourth discuss about Visarga, and fifth is Sthanam, sixth is Poshanam, all that stuff in that way. Okay, so here in third canto, Poshanam is, the Visarga is the primary topic. And we see that that is what is being discussed right from Brahmaji's creation, Brahma being created and onwards, it's all Visarga. So practically from chapter 8 onwards, it is primarily talking about Visarga, although there are some things like Prakrit Sarga and Vaikrit Sarga. Vaikrit Sarga refers to Visarga, which is, all this discussion is coming up. I mean, it's there in the next chapter. So yeah, you will hear about it. So that is how the topic is primarily Visarga. And in that, right now we are at a position where Brahmaji is born. Brahmaji has appeared rather on the lotus. 3.11 will discuss 3.11, meaning third canto 11th chapter, will discuss about the particular kalpa in which all these events are also taking place. So I won't go into that discussion right now. This is a discussion from Padma Kalpa. So Padma Kalpa's topic was to be raised in second canto, last 10th chapter. There Shukdev wanted to speak about Padma Kalpa, but then Parikshit, he asked questions about Vidura. So that's how topic got diverted. And then we see that the discussion in third canto begins with the inquiries about Maitreya and Vidura, the inquiries of Vidura to Maitreya and all that. So then topic comes back to Padma Sarga description in 8th chapter, 3.8. So that is the, Vishwanath Chakravarti explains this very clearly in the 11th chapter. So these are the events which are happening after 50 years of Brahma are completed. Parardha. Brahma's 50 years are known as Parardha. So the events like Brahmaji reappearing over here on the lotus and all that, these are the events in the 51st year of Brahmaji's life. 51st year, first day, like that. So anyway, if there are questions surrounding this also, we'll take them in 11th canto. I just want to tell you that these are the events happening in being referred as 51st year of Brahmaji's life and the first day in that, the Kalpa, Padma Kalpa, like that. So Brahmaji's appeared on that lotus, which sprouted from Garbhodakshayi and then Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. And then he was trying to find out, he didn't see anyone actually. He didn't see even the top 4 planets, Janalok, Maharlok, Tapalok, Satyalok. In every night of Brahma, these planets are not destroyed actually. Only till Swarga, the planets are destroyed. But he didn't see even these planets. He didn't see anyone, in fact. So then he tried to find out the root of this, which he was sitting, and all that effort is spoken in last chapter. You have heard about it, right? So finally, he decided to meditate. 100 years he did the meditation, and then in his heart he was able to see the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord manifested in his heart, right? The beautiful description of that Supreme Lord is there in the prior chapter, last chapter. And then his prayers are being described now. After Brahma has the vision of this Supreme Lord, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. So what prayers he offered, they are the topic of this 3.9, 9th chapter. So very beautiful prayers, all the more important because they are given by our, Sampradaya Acharya. Brahmaji himself, he is speaking those beautiful prayers, right? So 25 prayers, exquisitely meaningful, very beautiful, loaded with meaning prayers. So we'll try to see these in some detail. And then rest of the thing is where Lord is promising him what he asked for. So which can go a little quickly. But Stuti is a primary section in Bhagavatam. As you know, Stuti, prayers, they are the heart of Bhagavatam. So here is where even acharyas give a lot of comments and they analyze every word with so many different angles of vision and all. So with whatever limited time we have, we will try to do some justice to that. Actually, it would have been ideal to study such a section where we study line by line from Prabhupada purport, from Vishwanath Chakravarti, from Jeev Goswami. That is like ideal study. But then, yes, we should also have to take care of time. So timeline. So based on that, we will try to see if we can take whatever we can take from these commentaries and also from Prabhupada purport. Okay. So we will proceed with these prayers now. I will share the screen, which is nothing but folio, Veda based, but I have just highlighted the portions of Prabhupada purports, and there is some color combination. The highlighting in green denotes the points from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary that Prabhupada has imported. A highlight in yellow denotes the points which are from Jeev Goswami's commentary, and blue, it denotes his own points. Okay, so I just wanted to sort of make that where his ideas are stemming from, that also we should know. And in fact, for those who study from the commentaries, it is very easy to find out what Prabhupada is exactly referring to, where this idea is coming from. It's quite easy. It's as crystal clear as sun that, okay, what is this? Where is this point coming from? Which part of the verse it is connected to, like that. So that way, I have tried also my best. So I seek blessings here, especially all the seniors, Ram Nitai Prabhu, Sundarsham Prabhu, Gaur Lila Prabhu, and others, so that I can speak something worthwhile in this section. Hare Krishna. So here is this chapter 9. I'll just not sure if this screen is being projected to all the brahmacharis. Is that what being done? Srila Prabhupada's purport that I want to show, that will it be projected on the screen, Prabhu, or how is it?
Yes, Prabhu.
The
issue is there. I just see we are not able to see the screen now. Just a minute.
Achha, okay. Fine. Okay, so Prabhu, meanwhile we will get started with the verse and the meaning of the verse. So these are 25 prayers which are having different topics within it. The verses discuss about the form of the Lord. Then they discuss about different types of devotees. Also, what are the conditioned souls in material world? How are they suffering? Then Brahmaji offers towards the end obeisances, and finally he asks for certain benedictions. So those are the primary topics. You can also find in Subodhini Guide. They have also summarized this based on Vishwanath Chakravarti. But from one topic to another, there is a specific link with which the discussion proceeds. So it's best to understand that link and then go ahead. This is called in technical language as akshepa. Whenever you have a verse, that verse is an answer to an objection which is prior raised. That is called as akshepa. This is how the commentaries are written, the tikas are written. So if you don't understand the akshepa, then you will not understand why the next verse is coming also. So it's very important that you understand. In common layman's language, it may be called as link. The exact term is akshepa. And that akshepasya samadhanam is the verse. Like that is how the commentaries are written. So akshepasya samadhan, like that. Padacheda padarthokti sambandho vakya yojana or vigraho vakya yojana akshepasya samadhanam vyakhyanam panchavidham. Vyakhyana or commentary or discourse is fivefold. Padacheda padarthokti. First, you should split all the padas. Then you give the meanings of all the padas, like Prabhupada does. Every verse it's padacheda, then padarthokti, vigraho, vakya yojana. Then you show that how the syntax is there, how the statements can be connected so as to make it a meaningful statement. That is vigraho vakya yojana, also known as anvaya. And final is akshepasya samadhanam. And also whatever is the akshep, objection is raised, that is answered into that particular verse. So before every verse, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur will give an akshep. Or Sridhar Swami will give an akshep. Sometimes Shirajiv Goswami also. But he comments very briefly on in Kramasandarbh, so he doesn't do that much. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has done it for every verse, especially in Stuti. In Stuti, wherever prayers come, that style becomes extremely prominent. So that is what is there in this. So first 4 or 5 verses almost they talk about the particular form that Brahmaji saw and his glorification of that form. So this is text 1. These are all in Vasanta Tilaka meter, like how we sing our Brahma Samhita. So that is how all these verses, all 25 verses are in Vasanta Tilaka meter. Brahmovacha Jnatosi medya suchirananu deha bhajam Najñayate bhagavato gatirityabadyam Nanyatvadasti bhagavanna pitanna shuddham Maya guna vyatikaradya durvibhasi. Okay. Translation, can someone read translation? Maybe Narsimha Avatar Prabhu, can you read?
Lord Brahma said, "O my Lord, today after many, many years of penance, I have come to know about you. Oh, how unfortunate the embodied living entities are that they are unable to know your personality. My Lord, you are the only knowable object because there is nothing supreme beyond you. If there is anything supposedly superior to you, it is not the absolute. You exist as the supreme by exhibiting the creative energy of matter."
Yes. So Brahmavacha, Brahmaji said. So this Brahmaji, this is after seeing the form of the Lord in his heart, getting realization of that particular form. Lord is revealing that form. So he says, Jnato si me adya suchirat. Adya jnatah si. Today I have understood you. Today I have come to know about you. Today I have realized you. Adya Sime means Maya. By me, today you have become known. I have understood you today. Suchirat, after doing a great penance, today at this moment, oh Lord, I am able to see you. I am able to understand you. He says that. Nanu deha bhajam na jnayate bhagavato gati iti avadyam. After seeing the Lord, he was so jubilant. Seeing the beauty of the Lord, he is so ecstatic that he laments for those who don't have experience of this beautiful form of the Lord, or those who don't want to know the Lord, those who don't want to understand him. He says that actually avadyam, it is such an unfortunate thing. It is such a dosha, avadyam dosha. It's such a great fault of living entities that what is the fault? What is that unfortunate thing? Na jnayate bhagavatah gatihi. That they actually don't know this Supreme Lord. It is such an unfortunate thing. They are missing so much nectar. He's saying like that. That they don't understand you, O Supreme Lord. Bhagavatah gati na jnayate. That they are not able to understand the ways of Supreme Lord or the position of Supreme Lord. The actual form, the Satchidanand Roop of Supreme Lord. Many meanings are there. Deha bhajam na jnayate. Prabhupada follows the meaning by Sridhar Swami. Always remember this thing, that Srila Prabhupada's translation is a vanilla translation based upon Sridhar Swami's commentary. Like that. But in purport, Prabhupada brings up multiple acharyas' opinions and all. But his translations are primarily on Sridhar Swami. That way. So Sridhar Swami gives the basic text meaning, very clear meaning. while Vishwanath Chakravarti and Jeev Goswami, they have a great expertise in bringing out different meanings from the same text, like that. So actually text is, that's why very important in study of any scripture. We can't do away with the text. Purport and commentaries are not to do away with the original, but they are there to take us to the original, take us closer to the original, like that. So you see what kind of meditation the acharyas do on every verse, every word of the verse, because those words are not coming out from some ordinary souls, right? They are coming from people like Brahma, Narada, Vyasadeva, and all these people. So we can't disparage, or rather, take away the importance of those words, because based on those words only ideas stem, the concepts come out. So very beautiful meanings of that na nyayate bhagavato gati is given. Fine. So primarily, it's a great unfortunate thing that the conditioned souls, they don't understand you, Lord. They're missing so much nectar. He is saying, Nanyat vadasti bhagavan napitanna shuddham. Actually, in this world, what is there apart from you that should be searched out? Jnanarthak upadeyam. What is there that should be searched out? That what is there that should be the object of inquiry apart from you? Nanyat vadastati. Nanyat vadasti. Apart from you, there is nothing that is actually knowledge, inquiry for knowledge. If at all people say that there is something else, tadapi na shuddham, tanna shuddham. If they say, no, what about the matter? Is that not some inquiry? The heavenly pleasures, the pleasures of the sense gratification, that is also something which should be, what you said, looked for. So he says, tanna shuddham. No, actually, that is not pure, that is impure. Prabhupada takes the meaning as Nanyat vadasti bhagwan napita tanna shuddham, as there is nothing supreme beyond you. Means in this world there is nothing but you. Supreme Lord is there, and that's all. The whole world is Supreme Lord. Either it is Supreme Lord himself, Swarupa Shakti, or it is Maya Shakti. So Nanyat vadasti bhagwan napi tanna shuddham. Apart from you, O Lord, there is nothing in this world. There is nothing in this world which is superior to you. There is nothing in this world apart from you. There is nothing in this world which should be looked for apart from you. I gave you three meanings of that Nanyat vadasti. That way. So actually this variety, I hope, doesn't cause confusion, but rather it becomes mother of enjoyment, like that. So multiple meanings are there actually, and we, at least at this point, we should be able to appreciate these varieties of meaning. That way. So Maya Guna Vyatikarat, Maya Guna Vyatikaradya Urur Vibhasi. So how is that something else apart from Lord looks like in this world, the material world is there, how that also looks attractive? That looks attractive because of Maya Guna Vyatikarat, because of it being the transformation of the qualities, the gunas of Maya, Prakriti, material nature. So that's why it looks like very great, but it is actually not great. Na Shuddham, it is not pure. So we'll see this as we proceed in Prabhupada's purport. Like that. Okay, so here is Prabhupada's purport. Prabhupada begins with, the highest peak of the ignorance of living entities who are conditioned by material bodies is that they are unaware of supreme cause of cosmic manifestation. Right? Na jnayate bhagavatah gati iti avadyam. Actually, ignorance of living entities. They don't know about the supreme cause. That is, Prabhupada says, highest peak of ignorance. Like that. So causation is something which is not known by people, isn't it? What is the cause of this world? This is a question which probably not many think also. And even if they think, they are not able to know. Even great philosophers are not able to know, right? What is the cause of that universe? We see Bhagavatam begins with that inquiry. Janmadi asya yatonvayadi taratas. Janmadi asya yataha. Asya jagataha, of this world, Janmadi, Janma Sthiti Pralaya, Uh, this world's, this universe's Janma, Sthiti, Pralay, where from it comes, that is the first inquiry in Bhagavatam. That's how Bhagavatam begins. In fact, Srila Jiva Goswami says, you see the classic philosophical nature of Bhagavatam. Typically, other Puranas begin by some inquiry like, tell me the glory of that great Lord Shiva, tell me the glory of Devi, tell me the glory of Ganesha, and all that. But Bhagavatam begins with, let us inquire about absolute truth. It's such a generic and what you can say, it's not a very specific individual directed query. No, it's a question of common concern. What is absolute truth? What is the source of everything? Like that. So that is Bhagavatam's glory actually. The first verse itself is showing, Jiva Goswami says that it is showing the great subject matter that will come in the Bhagavatam. It's not directed to some specific individual like Devata or like that. It's discussing about the supreme cause of this manifestation, right? So Prabhupada also begins in first canto by saying, the conception of God and the conception of absolute truth are not on the same platform. So absolute truth is Param Satya. God is just Ishvara. God refers to only the creator, destroyer of this world, which is just the Paramatma aspect. But Param Satya refers to the aspect, not only Paramatma, it also refers to the aspect of Bhagavan, Swarup Shakti, Lord's pastimes with his Swarup Shakti, not with just Maya Shakti, which is Ishvara aspect, like that. So that's the difference between God and absolute truth. Samam Bon, Prabhupada calls it. So this kind of supreme cause, hardly anybody knows, and that is a very great peak of ignorance, Prabhupada says, right? Prabhupada says that different people have different theories regarding supreme cause, but none of them are genuine. There is whole Shaddarshana system, so much it talks about what is the supreme cause. Vedantins have different opinion, Sankhyites have different opinions, Nyaya Vaisheshika people have different opinion. A whole Vedanta is discussing this only. In Vedanta Sutra, causation is one of the primary topics. What is cause of this universe, of this world? So based on that only there are so many vadas. They are there. Shakti Parinam Vad, Drishti Srishti Vad, Ekeshwar Vad, Jiveshwar Vad, Satkarya Vad, Asatkarya Vad. So many philosophies actually. But people are not able to understand what is the causation. Somehow by Lord's mercy, Prabhupada's mercy, and Acharya's mercy, we are able to understand. But we are also able to understand very little, not much. Actually, if we see the Vedantic questions and all that, then we will also be short of words to explain those ideas and all that. Things are not necessarily very simple when it comes to explaining the creational Vedantic aspects and all. So the point is, yes, Bhagavataha Gati Deha Bhajam na Jnayate. Deha Bhajam, the embodied souls are not able to understand, and that is actually a very great unfortunate situation. Prabhupada also brings up the cause as Maya. Why that people are not able to understand? Because he says the conditioned souls illusioned by the same energy are thus unable to know the supreme cause. The cause is Maya. Maya Shakti bewilders them, right? So even most scientists and philosophers therefore cannot be accepted as wonderful. Sometimes even there are great scientists, philosophers, great thinkers, darshanikas, but even they are not able to understand what is the cause of the universe, right? So what is the cause of this material manifestation? So that is the point. In fact, one of the intellectual devotees of ISKCON, he once made a comment saying that Maya Devi is such a tricky personality. An ordinary person in the street or beggar, he may have one or two reasons to be in Maya. He may be attached to some, whatever, his blanket, that is the only possession he has, or the pot in which he begs like a beggar. He may be attached to that, and that is his reason to be in Maya. But a philosopher invents a whole complicated system to be in Maya. he has thousands of reasons to be in Maya. Meaning, actually, the thought, the complexity of analysis sometimes can bewilder a personality so much. Mayadev is so wonderful that one is convinced what he's convinced of being in Maya. Meaning, he's actually in Maya, but he's convinced he is right. And he thinks that he is right, like that. So that's how these philosophers also quarrel so much among themselves, whether it is Western philosophers or Eastern philosophers, Shad Darshan people, and everybody like that. Prabhupada says the most stalwart scientists and philosophers therefore cannot be accepted as wonderful. They only appear wonderful because they are instruments in the hands of illusory energy of the Lord, right? So they are wonderful instruments in the hands of illusory energy, like that. Then Prabhupada goes ahead and talks about how to know that supreme cause. Yes, people are not able to know, but then what is the process to know? Yes, one can know the supreme cause, the personality of Godhead, by the causeless mercy of the Lord, which is bestowed upon the Lord's pure devotees like Brahma and those in disciplic succession. So this is based upon Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, where he mentions this point, that he says that Bhagavat Kripa Labdham, Bhagavad Jnanam, Bhagavad Jnan, see, I am reading these terms from the commentary, okay. Bhagavad Jnan, the knowledge about Supreme Lord is Bhagavat Kripa Labdham. That is actually achieved by Supreme Lord's mercy only. Supreme Lord's mercy means devotee's mercy also. Lord's mercy, devotee's mercy, same thing. So that is achieved by the causeless mercy of the Lord. Unlike here Brahmaji or those in disciplic succession, Prabhupada is saying that they share that knowledge. And one may have that particular knowledge, but only by penance one is able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that. Prabhupada is making very nice point. He's bringing the point of seeing what is the qualification to see Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's the penance. Not without, without penance, one will not be able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Spiritual life is not some sentimental affair where we think like, oh, one day I just, imagine that I am seeing Krishna or like that. No, it needs a life of sacrifice and penance, isn't it? Here Brahmaji has done that meditation, that penance, austerity for 100 years, and then he is able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is not a ordinary thing. So Prabhupada says, Brahma was extremely satisfied upon observing the magnificent beauty and opulence of the Lord. And he admitted that nothing can be comparable to him. So that Brahmaji's experience after seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is what is being talked about here. He was so delighted by Supreme Lord's darshan. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that actually he felt that what I thought Lord to be, and I am seeing the Lord personally now, and there is so much of difference in what I meditated on and how I am seeing the beauty. Not meaning that he is seeing two different personalities. No, that's not the point. Point is, he is saying that actually the actual realization, actual seeing of your beauty is telling me that how much you are nectarine, how much your beauty, how your qualities are so much more than what one can think in his meditation. Dhyata Rupam. I was meditating on your form, but when I actually see your form, I feel like what I was meditating on, your actual beauty cannot be even gauged, cannot be calculated by any kind of meditation. That's his point. Brahma, he says, Vratha eva jnanabhiman kritaha. I was unnecessarily proud of my knowledge that I know you, I know your form, and I meditated. But then when I see you, I feel like I don't know anything. You are so beautiful, your magnificent beauty and opulence is making me feel like actually I was just unnecessarily thinking like I knew you or anything. I don't know anything about you. You are so amazing, that way. So that is the point that Prabhupada is basing his commentary on Brahmaji's saying that thing. And then he says this amazing sentence: only by penance can one appreciate the beauty and opulence of the Lord. And when one is acquainted with that beauty and opulence, one is no longer attracted by any other. Right? The beauty and opulence of the Lord, the way to appreciate is penance. Of course, this penance means devotional austerity. We don't mean some jnani or penance in some karmi or jnani life. No, we are saying devotional penance. So, understanding Lord's beauty, that is actually a matter of penance and a life of sacrifice, right? We hear about Krishna's beauty, so many acharyas or Bhagavatam explains about that beauty. But how do we get attracted to that beauty? So we have to also lead a life of devotional surrender and service. We have to render to the Supreme Lord. Then we will be attracted by Krishna's beauty like that. Otherwise, just some mental concoction, mental idea, oh, I love Krishna very much. People have sometimes such ideas like that. But then they don't want to dedicate their life in service to the Supreme Lord. They don't want to lead a life of devotion. So that kind of attraction is very ephemeral, very transient. We see that they are also attracted equally to the other sense objects. So that way. So actually getting attracted to Krishna's beauty is a profound affair. We have to also hear about that beauty, serve the Supreme Lord, right? Especially Archa Vigraha is there, and the way our pujaris dress the deities. It is so wonderful that we are naturally able to appreciate the beauty. But we also have to be able to appreciate beauty when the deities are very simple, right? Like Goswami's deities and all that. So they are also most beautiful. So we also should be able to appreciate them, their beauty, like that. So very important. That's why that actually that kind of appreciation for Krishna, whether he is externally beautified very exquisitely or not, irrespective of that, the appreciation for beauty can come by life of service attitude and devotion. That is very important. So if we serve the deities, if we offer prayers to them, we glorify them, then we see that actually we may not only see externally the deities. Of course, if somebody is able to appreciate the exquisite dressing and the pagadi and all that, that is very nice. We are not saying that. It's important. And somebody who is artistic has that sense of aesthetics may be able to appreciate. But that is fine. But we also appreciate Krishna in any authentic form of Krishna, in any way that the form is there. So for that, the natural appreciation in terms of offering prayers to the Supreme Lord and living a life of service attitude and devotion will help us that way. So that is the point. Prabhupada makes very nice point that only by penance one can appreciate the beauty and opulence. And once one is attracted by Lord's beauty, then one will not be attracted by other beauties of this world. Param drishtva nivartate. Finally, Prabhupada says Brahmaji also condemns those who are in this way missing this supreme beauty and opulence of Supreme Lord. Like that. Such is this wonderful form of Supreme Lord that those who are not getting its darshan, those who are not worshipping such a form, they are actually, their life is lamentable. Like that. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, will somebody not say that, but well, apart from Lord also there are other objects for enjoyment like Swargiya Sukha, heavenly enjoyment. He says, Tanna Shuddham, that heavenly enjoyment, one may consider it as pleasure, but it is not pure. It is apavitram. Shuddha nahi hai wo. Bhagwan kya saundarya shuddha hai. It's pure, but that is impure. And in order to explain that only, he gives the example of these crows and swans. He says that actually who gets attracted to that kind of heavenly pleasure, sense gratification pleasure? He says only kami kaka sangha asvadyam. Kami kaka sangha. Kak hota hai crow. Sangha, group. Kami kaka sangha. He says that that's a lusty group of crows. They are asvadyam. They are the ones who relish such pleasures of sense gratification, like that. So of course, I mean, very easy to say such things, but I'm just repeating what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. We all aspire that we also sometimes, come to this level where we feel like that. He says, Kami kaka sangha svadyam, natu nishkinchana hamsa parishad drishyam. Actually, जो निष्किंचन हंस लोग है, उनको कुछ रुचि नहीं है उसमें. कामी काक लोगों को रुचि है, like that. So that's why Prabhupada also brings up the discussion of crows and ducks. Very interestingly, Prabhupada says crows and ducks. Crows always engage in picking at rejected garbage, whereas the white ducks do not mix with the crows. White swans, he basically means swans. Ducks are the basic, superset. Within ducks, you can also count swans, like that. So that's why he means swans, hamsa, that way. Otherwise, usually hams and baka are differentiated. Even in Subhashita, they say hamsaha shvetaha, bakaha shvetaha, ko bhedo hamsa bakayoho, nirakshira viveketu, hamso hamsaha bako baka. Usual comparison is between swan and duck. When it comes to nirakshira vivek, when it comes to separating milk and water, hamso hamsa, swan is swan and duck is duck. That way. So that's how they are usually differentiated. But Prabhupada is saying in the same sense, although he is using the word duck over here. So in this way, we see that this verse is explaining all these aspects like that. Hare Krishna. First verse was a lot of discussion. So fine, are there any questions? I think 45 minutes I spoke, so we should check if there are any quick questions on this. Is there any question, Prabhu? Otherwise, I'll proceed to the next verse. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhu, I can.
Prabhuji, now this meter is Vasanta Tilakam, you said. This is like Brahma Samhita, right?
Yeah.
Brahma Samhita meter. So
yes.
Now this is there any reason why the meter changes? Like because it is the prayers of Brahmaji?
See, prayers, each one of the chandas also has a sense to convey. Meaning, when you want to convey official Aishwarya kind of prayers, then you use a certain meter, like that. So especially prayers are there. So those prayers are put into a certain meter based upon the sense that is carried by the meter. Like suppose you have to describe the prayers which are in sort of Virya Ras. You are describing Yuddha and Virya Ras activities. Then you use Prithvi meter. When you have prayers like Aishwarya, full of Aishwarya and all, then you use Vasanta Tilakam meter, like that. So like that you speak about. When you have a very general narration, then you use Anushtup meter, that way. So the Chanda Shastra explains the particular sense also in which a particular meter is used. So that's why you will see that differentiation. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Any other thing? Any other thing on the content of the words? Or anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, here Srila Prabhupada in the purport calls Brahmaji as a pure devotee, and generally we know that demigods, we generally call it as they are karma mishra devotees, bhaktas, and we also hear that in our Brahmanda we have Brahmaji, Surya, Ganesh are the pure devotees. So are there any references for this or the statements of acharyas that certain demigods are being pure devotees?
Yeah, there are references by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There is in Bhagavatam only Chaturmukh Brahma is pure devotee is referred in many places, even in this Canto's commentaries. Chaturmukha, four-headed Brahma is a pure devotee is referred at least 3-4 references I remember where it is referred. Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about these 5 deities very special and how they are, this Surya, Ganesh and all of them and how their position is unique. So that is also spoken. So yes, Prabhu, those references are there. I mean, yeah, if you want, I can give that offline.
Okay, Maharaj. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. So we'll proceed with the next verse.
Prabhuji, while sharing the screen, can you just increase this font? We can't see clearly.
That is always a problem. When I increase the font, then it's a trouble for me because I am only able to see 3-4 words in a line. And if I don't increase it, then it's a trouble for others. Okay, fine, Prabhu. So we will see the next verse now. Text 2. Rupam yade tadavabodha rasodagena shashvan nivruttatamasa sadanugrahaya ado grahitam avatar shataika bijam yannaabhi padma bhavanadhama virasam. Yes, translation. Shamlila Prabhu, can you read translation?
The form which I see is eternally free from material contamination and has advented to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of internal potency. This incarnation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born from the lotus flower grown from your navel home.
Yes, thank you. So now he proceeds with the text second. So Sridhar Swami says that if Brahma were to say, this is Akshepa by Sridhar Swami, Brahma has glorified the Supreme Lord, saying that today I have realized this beautiful form of yours, and very unfortunate that the living entities, they don't know about this. So Sridhar Swami says that if Lord were to say, Tanu nano tvam api samyak na janasi. Actually, Brahma, you also don't understand. Samyak na janasi. You actually don't know very perfectly. Yat tvaya drishtam rupam, that form which is seen by you, etadapi gunatmakam eva. Actually, this form is also with 3 modes of material nature. Ye to roop gunatmak hai. See, you are seeing the form, no? So this form is also consisting 3 modes of material nature. And you are talking so much about its beauty and all that. People are not seeing it. It is very unfortunate. But is this form also not gunatmak? Meaning, is this form not also material, having 3 modes of material nature? Actual real thing is nirguna Brahma. If Lord were to say like this. Nirguna Brahma is the real form. What do you feel, Brahma? Isn't it? You are glorifying this form, but I say that actually your knowledge is not perfect because you are glorifying a form which is gunatmak, which is consisting of 3 modes of material nature. Like that. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, actually the form which you showed, the form which you have seen, I manifested this just today, right? Adyatana eva. You were not seeing this form before, and I manifested it just now. So what it means? Means this form is not eternal, because before you were not able to see like that, and I manifested this just now. So look, is this form eternal, or I think this form is not eternal. You only just said that Adya eva jnatah. See, today only I have realized you. So Brahmaji feels that Lord should not do such parihas. He should not say such a thing. So that's why he answers with this verse. If you say that this form is gunatmaka, this form is also material, this form is also consisting of 3 modes of material nature, or you also say this form is not eternal, then here is my answer. And the answer is this verse. Akshepasya samadhanam. Like. So what does he say, Brahmaji? He says, Rupam yadetad avabodha rasodayena. Actually, Lord, this form which you are showing, etad rupam, avabodha rasodayena. This is not some mundane form, material form. This form is manifested by your chit shakti, internal potency, avabodha rasodayena, avabodha rasa. This is a word which comes in many philosophical terms. Avabodha rasa refers to Chidghan, pure consciousness, Satchidananda, that is Avabodha Rasa. Literally, Avabodha Rasa, taste of knowledge, taste of realization. Like even in Narayaniyam, it is there, right? Sandra Nanda Avabodhatmakam Anupamitam Kaladesha Vadibhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam, like that. So, Avabodha Rasa is referring to Satchidananda. Chit Shakti. This form is by Swarup Shakti of the Supreme Lord. It is not some mundane form. You are saying Gunatmak? No way. Gunatmak forms are created by Maya Shakti. This form is created by this Chit Shakti, meaning Swarupa Shakti. So that is this Rupa. Shashvat Nivrutta Tamasaha Sadanugrahaya. And from in this form, this Tamasa, this Maya, Tamasa here means Maya. It just doesn't mean tamoguna. It means Maya, ignorance. It's completely eradicated. There is no ignorance in this form. There is no Maya in this form. Shashvan Nivrutta. Sare tamas se nivrutta hai ye roop jo hai aapka. There is no material energy in this form. It is completely transcendental, like that. Why do you manifest this form? Sadanograhaya. You manifest this form for bestowing your mercy on your devotees. Adau grahitam. And this form is accepted by you. Grahitam. This grahitam has been translated, commented by acharyas. Grahitam doesn't mean Lord has accepted. He has manifested. Prakatitam. Grahitam means prakatitam. This form is manifested. It was always there with the Supreme Lord. This is his eternal form. But it is manifested. Avishkritam, Sridhar Swami says. Jiva Goswami says, Prakatitam. This is manifested, like that. When it is manifested, Adau, it is manifested even before the other Gunavataras are manifested. In a universe, this is the first form that is manifested, right? Garbhodakshai Vishnu's form. So Adau. Adau means Gunavataranam Agrataha. Before even Gunavataras, like that. Avatara Shataika Bijam, and this form is actually the seed of all the hundreds of incarnations that come forth. Kshirodakshai is the one which manifests as different incarnation, but because this form is cause of even Kshirodakshai, which is the Gunavatara. So that's why this form is considered to be Avatara Shataika Bijam. Garbhodakshai Vishnu is only considered the root of all the incarnations in any universe. Right. Although the forms appear typically through Kshirodakshai Vishnu, but even Sud Goswami glorifies Lord like that. Yes. Yanna Abhipadma Bhavanad, and from whose abode of whose lotus navel, Aham Avirasam, I appeared. Brahmaji says, I also appeared from this personality's lotus navel. So, my Lord, this is not a mundane form. This is not a gunatmak form. This is actually avabodh rase, rasodayan. This form is transcendental. He's saying that. So, see, Srila Prabhupada, he begins by saying, the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwar, the executive heads of three modes of material nature, are all generated from Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who is described herein by Brahma. So this is based upon Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary, where he translates Adau as Gunavataranam Agrataha. Before Gunavataras, Lord appears, Lord manifests his form before Gunavataras. So that's why Prabhupada brings up the Gunavataras, Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwar. Very clearly it can be seen why he is bringing up that point in the beginning only, like that. And then he talks about, yes, how Kshirodakshai Vishnu, from him many incarnations come. And that Kshirodakshai is also actually an expansion of Garbhodakshai. So that's why Garbhodakshai is considered the seed of all the avatars, like that. why are these forms manifested? Prabhupada says they are expanded only for transcendental happiness of pure devotees. So this is nothing but the Sadanugrahaya. These are manifested so that Lord's devotees, all the incarnations, the Lord appears so that he reciprocates with his devotees. So for happiness of pure devotees only he manifests, right? Those incarnations come up. Whether those devotees at that time or the devotees who are going to come in the future, it is for transcendental happiness of pure devotees. Kunti Devi also says that. What is the real reason why Lord appears? Bhavesmin klishyamanana avidya kama karma bhi shravan smaran arhani karishaniti kechana. That's the real reason. Lord wants to please his devotees by giving the topics for shravana smarana arhani karishaniti kechana. That's the real reason. नहीं तो बेचारा क्या कर रहा है? भवेस्मिन क्लिश्यमानानाम, इस भाव में क्लिश्यमान बस क्लेश भोग रहा है. ऐसे उस व्यक्ति के लिए to give him the transcendental happiness, Shravana Smarana Arhani. That's why the Lord appears like that. So I'm saying that whether Tatkalik Karan of that Leela or Lord creating these Leela topics for the future generation, the reason is transcendental happiness only of his devotees, of his pure devotees. That's the point. Okay, so Prabhupada says further that actually anybody who compares Lord to be Brahma and Shiva, even he is called a Pashandi, infidel. Saha Pashandi Bhaved Dhruvam, like that. So Supreme Lord always is transcendental to even Brahma and Shiva. Then he goes to that Shashvan Nivritta Tamasaha. Tamaha mentioned herein is the material nature, see. Prabhupada says that is from Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary only, that meaning of Tama as material nature. He's Maya because he is Avabodha Rasodayena. His form is made up of internal potency. It is Chit Shakti and it has nothing to do with Tamas. Like that. So that's why it is known as Avabodha Rasa or Avarodha Rasa. That which completely nullifies all matter, all material nature, all Maya. Meaning in that form there is nothing, any material contact or anything like that. And that's the point. So that is how Brahmaji glorifies Supreme Lord as being his form being transcendental. Okay, so he continues his glorification. We can have a break now. It's 12:04. So we can have 7 minutes break and then we will continue. Hare Krishna.
इसमें टेंशन तो नहीं है और पीला पीला तो जाएगा, लेकिन मैंने नया पेंटिंग देखा ना मुंबई का, मुझे अच्छा लगा. अगर मैं ऐसा नया सेट जगह का दूंगा तो मुंबई का नया पेंटिंग मिल सकता है क्या? मैं समझा नहीं, नया पेंटिंग ये बैंगलोर का पेंटिंग. अगर ऐसा मैं नया सेट जगह का दूंगा तो मुझे जीवदया से मुंबई प्रिंटिंग का नया छोटा वाला वाला तो मिल सकता है. नया छोटा वाला हमने लाया ही नहीं. शिवर वर्क तो बोले कि है तो गोल्ड का क्या करूं? किसी को दान करो, किसी को आप दान करो. देखते किसके लिए क्या प्रॉब्लम है? टेंशन छोटा है, टेंशन तो नहीं है, टेंशन बाइंडिंग नहीं. टेंशन तो मैं देता हूँ ना बड़ा वाला. टेंशन तो छोटा है, बाइंडिंग भी छोटा है. नहीं बड़ा वाला देता हूँ. छोटा वाला चलता है, छोटा वाला जो मिलने का मिलता है उसको फोन कर उसका फोन छोटा है और कभी कभी दूसरा नोट बनेगा. वही मुझे मालूम नहीं रहा कि मैं क्या करता हूँ. वो नया कहाँ से लाओगे? एक्स्ट्रा फुल ब्रांड न्यू. एकदम ब्रांड न्यू पैक है ना, किसी को देना नहीं. ये बेंगलोर का स्कूल करता है ऐसे कैसे? उसमें पार्शियल है ना, पूरा नहीं है ना उसमें। इंग्लिश में 10th कैंटो नहीं है ना उसमें, नया वाला देंगे तो भी नहीं, फिर तो मुश्किल है, फिर तो नहीं दे सकते। 10th कैंटो नहीं है तो क्या करेंगे, को किसको घुमाए?
तो नहीं हुआ तो नहीं होगा, कैंटो है तो नहीं। खोल के देखता हूँ, कैंटो नहीं है तो नहीं। 10th तो रहेगा तो चलेगा ना।
10th कैंटो रहेगा तो दे सकते हैं, लेकिन कुछ ये इसमें मिस्टेक तो कुछ नहीं ना। वो क्या कन्नड़ में भी वैसे करते हैं क्या?
कर्नाटक का छोटा है, बैंगलोर का प्रिंट दूसरा है, मुंबई का ओल्ड प्रिंट छोटा है।
अभी तीसरा नया मुंबई का ही नया प्रिंट मेरे पास ओल्ड था, मेरे पास ओल्ड था, ओल्ड वाला मुंबई प्रिंट वाला ओल्ड वाला मेरे पास था। मैंने इनको दिया, क्या नाम है, सारंग मगर को दे दिया फुल कंप्लीट।
मुंबई का ओल्ड रहेगा तो मैं वो दे दूंगा, अगर बैंगलोर का ओल्ड रहेगा तो उसमें 10th कैंटो नहीं रहेगा तो नहीं दूंगा।
नहीं चाहिए, इसको कुछ नहीं कर सकता। ओम
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Okay, Prabhu. So we continue. So in this way, after describing that how this form is transcendental, this form is made up of Chit Shakti, Swarup Shakti, and not some Gunatmaka Rupa, then after that Brahmaji proceeds with this prayer. So after this second prayer, if Lord were to say that, okay, Brahmaji, you are glorifying this form as this form is actually Satchidananda. But then, which is the original? Which is the superior form? Is Brahma superior? Because many say Nirgun Brahma is superior and this is inferior. So out of the two, original form is, they say that Nirguna Brahma, and then from there this Saguna form has come, like that. So which is the superior form? Which is the root form? Which is the original form? How do I understand that? So, saying this particular verse. Third, Natah param paramayad bhavatah swarupam anandamatram avikalpam aviddha varchah pashyami visvasrijamekam avishma atman bhutendriyatmakam adasta upashritosmi. Translation. Yes, someone can read translation. I mean, I will not ask every time. Anyone can read.
O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. I surrender unto you because whereas I am proud of my material body and senses, your Lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you are untouched by matter.
Yes. Okay, so Lord is saying, which is the original form? Which is the superior form? Is that Nirguna Brahma is superior to this form? So he says, no. Natah parama yad bhavatah swarupam. O Supreme Lord, I don't see any form which is atah param, which is greater than this form which I am seeing right now. Meaning this transcendental form that I am seeing, I don't see that any other form is greater. Or your Nirguna Brahma is greater than this, like that. Especially, he says, which form is not greater than this? Bhavatah Swarupam Anandamatram Avikalpam. See, these words refer to Brahman, Nirguna Brahma, Brahma Jyoti. So he says that Brahma Jyoti is not superior to this form. No. Yad Bhavatah Swarupam, actually that which is also your one of the features, Brahman, which is Ananda Matram Avikalpam, which is full of bliss, Brahmananda, and which is Avikalpa, it is free from all variety, which is free from all the qualities. So that form, na ataha param, that is not greater than this form. In fact, this form is greater than Brahman. Brahma also is consisting, this form is consisting even Brahman. So that is what his point is. So Ananda Matram Avikalpam Aviddhavarchaha. Pashyami Visvasrijam Ekam Vishwamatman. And I see that particular form now. I am able to see that by my meditation. I am able to see this form now in front of me. Vishvasrijam, which creates this particular universe. Ekam, he alone is there. Avishvam, he is not a form which is of this world. He is a transcendental form, meaning which Brahmaji is seeing, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu is Avishvam. It is beyond the universe. It is not of this world. It is not of this universe. It is not of the matter. It is beyond the matter. He Atman, He Paramatman. Bhutendriyatmakamadasta upashritosmi. So I take shelter of Upashritaha. I take shelter of you because I am proud of my material body and senses. Bhuta Indriya Atma. Bhuta means my body, Indriya, senses, Atma means mind. I am consisting of this and I am very proud. So I take shelter of your lotus feet. So why is he saying like that? See, each one of the thought process is connected to the prior word. So usually, typically, it comes out by explanations of Prabhupada and Acharyas, right? So why is he saying suddenly about I, one who is proud of my mind, intelligence, and all that, I take your shelter? Because Vishvasrijam, that word is connected here. Vishvasrijam. If he says that I am seeing, Brahma says, I am seeing the form which is the creator of this universe. Lord says, oh, you are also creator. Are you not the creator? Oh, I am creator, but I am not a Vishvam. I am not beyond this world. My form is not transcendental like you. My form is also made up of material nature. Although Brahmaji's body is very special, it is made of intelligence, but then still it is a material body, isn't it? In terms of the composition, I'm saying. Although in that composition he is transcendental personality. But he is saying, I am not a Vishwam. My form contains matter, like that. So although I am also considered secondary creator, there is a difference. You are a Vishwam. You don't have any matter in your body. You don't have, that's why any kind of pride, any kind of identification with Bhuta, Indriya, Atma, with Man, with the mind, with the senses, with the matter, body and all that. So you don't have that identification, but I have. That is the difference. And that's why I take shelter of you, like that. So this is how it is connected. Bhutendriyatmaka madaha. This way. So, Prabhupada, let's see how Prabhupada explains this verse. So, Prabhupada begins first about that actually for understanding this spiritual subject matter, this understanding about Supreme Lord, first and foremost is one has to have the bhakti. Without bhakti, the kind of realization that Brahmaji is speaking is not possible. So if we want to understand the Supreme Lord, first and foremost is we should have the bhakti. By only bhakti process, bhaktya mam abhijanati, bhaktya ham ekaya grahya, bhaktya mam abhijanati yaman yashtasmi tattvata. So that Prabhupada, first he mentions that point. How Brahmaji is realizing, how Brahmaji is saying about of eternal bliss and knowledge, meaning the Satchidananda, the forms, how they are superior to Brahman. So this kind of realization is possible only if one has bhakti. So Prabhupada begins with the process to achieve this kind of realization. That is most important, like that. And then he quotes how all these different forms are superior even to Brahman and multiple forms of the Lord. So he quotes Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantaru, Brahma Samhita, very famous verse, like that. So after that, in the second para, you see, Prabhupada, first he says, continues to talk about that bhakti process as the process to understand. The only way to understand the Lord as he is by devotional service. So this is in the same continuation of the theme, like that. Now, he says, by devotional perfection, one can understand that impersonal Brahmajyoti is only a partial representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Right? So, this verse which is talking about, Natah param parama yadbhavatah swarupam. So, actually, impersonal Brahma is not beyond this form, rather, impersonal Brahma is included within this form. The Brahma Jyoti is included within this form. That is the point. Although that Brahma Jyoti also may have Ananda Matra, Avikalpa and all such aspects, but it is included. That is the point. And then he says, in the spiritual sky of Brahma Jyoti, there is no change of various kalpas or millenniums. See, this is a different meaning that he is giving to Avikalpam. Avikalpam means actually there where there is no kalpa, there is no creation. So it is talking about spiritual world, Vaikuntha planets. So Prabhupada, although he put the meaning of avikalpam in his word to word for impersonal Brahma effulgence, but then he has given in the purport meaning as actually for spiritual world, for Supreme Lord's Bhagavan form. You see, this is how Prabhupada switches. He switches between translations and in purport. In purport, he is not calling avikalpam for Brahma Jyoti. He is calling avikalpam as there is no change of various kalpas or millenniums, and there are no creative activities in Vaikuntha world. So this both is referring to actually the aspect of Mahavaikuntha. See, the whole Brahma Jyoti has the Mahavaikuntha within it, and in that Mahavaikuntha there is no kalpa, there is no creation that is to be done and all that, right? So both these words are referring actually to spiritual world, to Lord's Bhagavan feature as per Srila Jiva Goswami, and that's how Prabhupada is also taking that meaning like that. He is not taking a vikalpam to refer to Brahma Jyoti, but to refer to, especially in the purport I am saying, and to refer to the Vaikuntha world. There are no creative activities in Vaikuntha world. It is exact translation of Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary, where he is speaking these things. So, Ananda Matram or Avikalpam, these are the characteristics of Bhagavan feature also. And this Bhagavan feature is completely superior to the Brahma Jyoti. That is the point that Srila Jiva Goswami mentions like that. Then Prabhupada says finally on Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he says influence of time is conspicuous by its absence. In the spiritual world, there is no time there, right? Or time is conspicuous by one's absence, by its absence. So this is a famous term, English phrase that Prabhupada uses, conspicuous by one's absence, right? So meaning that actually time is there in spiritual world, but it doesn't have the effect like in the material world. Is time not there in the spiritual world? It is there, but it is there for the Leela sake. So it doesn't have the effect like it has in the material world. That's the meaning of conspicuous by its absence. Meaning actually the time, the way it has effect in material world, the destruction and the old age and then the Shadvikaras that come in, that doesn't happen in the spiritual world. And it is striking. So that's why it's conspicuous. It is absent, but still it is conspicuous. Meaning it is attracting attention. Why? Because the effect of time in material world is so ubiquitous, so omnipresent, that destruction is seen everywhere. So that time in the spiritual world, if you see, although it is acting, but it is not having that effect at all. Time doesn't make people old there. Time doesn't make people things tasteless there. No. Like that. So just for Krishna's Leela sake, the time is there, whatever. There is morning, there is evening, there is afternoon, but then it is for Krishna's Leela, not that Ayur Harati Vaipam Samudyan. So that doesn't happen. So that is influence of time is conspicuous by its absence. That's actually avidya. That is the meaning of that. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives the meaning of avidya varcha like that, saying that time and space don't affect it, and that's how Prabhupada is also translating it as time is conspicuous by its absence. In this way, like that. So this is the region of transcendental world, spiritual world, and we say that this spiritual world is actually the form in the spiritual world, and the spiritual world, the Bhagavan feature of Supreme Lord, is completely transcendental to the Brahma Jyoti. That is what he is speaking in this particular verse, like that. Srila Jiva Goswami gives a different meaning also to this Nataha Param, that actually he says that Brahmaji is saying that I don't see a form which is your highest form, which is the form of Bhagavan, which is the form that I am not seeing here, but I am only seeing the form of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. But even beyond this, beyond meaning, even superior to this, there is the original form of yours, which is Ananda Matram, Avikalpam, and all that, which is the transcendental Golok Vrindavan's form. So he's saying that, Brahmaji is saying that I am not seeing that, but I am seeing the form which is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. So anyway, he gives a different meaning like that also, which is fine, because Shirodakshayi Vishnu is Paramatma, while Krishna is Bhagavan. He's superior to even Paramatma. That way. Okay. Okay. Any questions on this, whatever we have discussed? Because I mean, sometimes I'm sharing a lot of insights from Tika, and also maybe in case you don't catch, you may ask. Yes. Any question on what we discussed in these 3 verses? Otherwise, we'll proceed.
Guruji, what is the connecting link between second and third verse?
That's what, no. Second verse talked about how this form is transcendental. This form is made up of Chit Shakti. But then, what about Brahma Jyoti? Is Brahma Jyoti original or is this form original? So while explaining that, he speaks the third verse. That's the point. Understand?
Yes, Guruji.
Brahma Jyoti generates this form or this form generates Brahma Jyoti? Like that, he's asking. So then he says, no, this form is the original. And Brahma Jyoti is also inferior to this form. Like that he's speaking.
So basically, this particular text 3 is speaking about the Supreme Lord's personal form, and how we actually, it depends on us how we approach the Lord, like ye yatha mam prapadyate.
That sense is not coming at all, no? Where is ye yathamam prapadyante sense is coming? He is speaking about the Lord's form, which is original form, is the Satchidanand form, while Brahma Jyoti is inferior. That's it. He is not talking anything about, okay, who sees as Brahma Jyoti, who sees as Supreme Lord. That is coming in the future verses. Like that.
Okay.
Here his point is only that Bhagwan is superior to Brahma Jyoti. That's it. Like, fine. Yes. Anything else? Anyone? Then we should proceed. Acha, there are some questions coming to me privately. I mean, they are written to me. So then, if I am supposed to answer also privately, I'm not sure. Like so, I'm noting those questions probably. So then I can answer them in the end or something. Fine. So we go ahead. Text 4. So he continues. Tadva idam bhuvana mangala mangalaya dhyanes manodarshitam ta upasakanam tasmai namo bhagavate nu vidhema tubhyam yona drito narakabhagbi rasat prasangaihi. Translation. Please read.
This present form,
Okay,
or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form upon whom your devotees meditate, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics.
Yes. So this is text 4 now. So Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur says, fine. I mean, you spoke about how this form is the original form, and even impersonal Brahma is actually dependent on it. Impersonal Brahma is inferior to this particular form, like that. That is one particular feature. Like that. Although Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan, it is referring to the same thing, we do understand it's Advaya Tattva. But then still there is a particular understanding that is spoken into that, right? Jiva Goswami goes in great depths in Bhagavad Sandarbha explaining this particular aspect of Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. So impersonal Brahma, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, if Lord were to say, but then people worship impersonal Brahma. There are so many who are the followers, or who are rather not followers, but worshippers of impersonal Brahma. Like that. So why don't you take shelter of impersonal Brahma? What is the specific reason that you want to worship this form only? meaning the form of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu only. Why don't you worship impersonal Brahma like that? Because there are so many worshippers of that form also, right? So, nanu nirvishesha swarupam kimiti na ashrayasi. Nanu means akshepa. Typically in Acharya's comments, Sanskrit, nanu akshipati, like that it will be, So, why is that so many worship Nirvishesh Swarup, right? So, why is that we should not worship and rather we should worship this particular form, like that? So fine, you did say that this form is the original, while impersonal Brahma is inferior, subordinate to this form, like that. But still, so many people worship this form of Nirguna Brahma. So why don't you also take shelter of this particular form? So in answer to this, Brahmaji says this way. Actually, this form of yours, which I am seeing, this form is what? He says, Bhuvana Mangala Mangalaya. O most auspicious one, O abode of all auspiciousness, one who causes all auspiciousness to the whole world. This form, Idam Rupam, is actually Mangalaya. This is for auspiciousness of entire world. What kind of auspiciousness? Mangalaya, like that. He says that this form bestows upon everyone the Purusharthas. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, Prema, whatever. From 4 Purusharthas to Pancham Purushartha, everything this particular form, it is able to bestow. Isn't it? Your form, which is the transcendental form, not the Brahman aspect. So I want to worship this form because you bestow all the Mangala, all the auspiciousness through this particular form. This is not the job of impersonal Brahma. Impersonal Brahma is not there to reciprocate. Your form is reciprocal. That's why I want to worship you. If you want to see, this Supreme Lord is so amazing, where somebody is akamo, sarvakamo, mokshakamo, udardi, tivrena, bhakti yogena, yajeta purusham param. Anybody who wants any kind of purushartha, whether it is dharma, artha, kama, moksha, that is called as mangalaya, mangalani. Mangal is including these aspects. Or even if he wants pure devotional service, then this form of the Lord should be worshipped, not the impersonal Brahma. That's why I want to worship you like that. Dhyane sma no darshitam te upasakanam. Also, this is the form which manifested in front of me. Vishwanath says, Brahman didn't manifest in front of me. You have manifested in front of me. So, Kripaluta Adhikyam. Actually, you are more merciful than Brahman. Meaning, he is saying that actually you are reciprocal. Brahman is not reciprocal. The worshippers of Brahman, they don't have the personal reciprocation like that's there between bhaktas and Lord, no? Isn't it? So in my dhyana, Brahman didn't appear. You appeared. Dhyane smano darshitam. Naha dhyane asmakam dhyane darshitam. This form was shown like that. And whoever worships you, you manifest this particular form in front of them. So that's why I want to worship this particular form. I don't want to take shelter of Nirvishesh Brahma. Tasmai namo bhagavate anuvidhema. That's why I just offer my obeisances unto you. Like that. Namo anuvidhema. Tubhyam. And those who don't do like this, those who consider that your form is inferior or it's made up of matter, it's not a transcendental form, let me tell you, Lord, anadritaha, those who don't give adar to your form, they are narakabhagdhi, they are actually the pilgrims for hell, Prabhupada says. In the purport, Prabhupada says pilgrims for hell. They actually deserve to go into hell. Asat prasangaihi. Because they are the people who are always associating with materialists, or they are full of false arguments. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives that asat prasanga, like that also meaning. They are just full of fallacious, specious kind of arguments, which are meaningless. And they disrespect your form like that. So that's why these are actually residents of hell, he says. So Brahmaji is speaking with some very intense emotion that actually I want to worship your transcendental form only. Don't tell me to worship impersonal Brahma and all that. No, because this form is going to bestow all auspiciousness on whole world like that. Especially in terms of the reciprocal aspect of Supreme Lord. That we should, that is what is highlighted by Brahmaji in terms of this particular words. So, idam savishesham swarupam, nirvishesh swarup nahi bhai. Kaun sa savishesh swarupa? This is the one which is there for everybody's mangala. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, mangalani dharmartha kama mokshaha. So, for everybody's kalyana, this form is to be worshipped, and by that we see that dharmadaya, these are all achieved like that, this way. You don't worship for getting dharma, artha, kama or prema. You don't worship this impersonal Brahma. For particular moksha, that took something very specific, sayujya moksha, only you worship impersonal Brahma, like that. And then in that form also, how much of reciprocation is there? No. It's like Markat Nyaya. One has to cling on the monkey baby has to cling on the stomach of the mother monkey. Similarly, the followers of this path, they have to cling on to the Brahman. Brahman is not going to hold them like Supreme Lord, how he holds his devotees this way. So the point is, that's why I want to worship this particular form. So Prabhupada begins by saying, regarding personal and impersonal features of Supreme Absolute Truth, the personal forms exhibited by Lord, they are for the benediction of all the universes. See, very clear from Vishwanath Chakravarti he is speaking. This benediction of all the universes is dharma, artha, kama, moksha and all that. The personal form of the Lord is also worshipped in meditation as the super soul Paramatma, but the impersonal Brahma Jyoti is not worshipped. Yes. Paramatma is the Supreme Lord. It's not impersonal Brahma. Paramatma, you don't worship impersonal Brahma as Paramatma. Like that. Prabhupada says, persons who are addicted to impersonal feature of the Lord, whether in meditation or otherwise, are all pilgrims to hell. Very interesting term, pilgrims to hell. So they have a pilgrimage. Yatra. Kaun si yatra? Bhai, narak ki yatra pe ja rahe sab. Like that. So, Prabhupada quotes 12.5. Klesho adiktarastesham avyakta asakta chetasa. Avyakta hi gatir dukkham deha vadhira vapyate. Actually, the path of impersonalism is very painful, Krishna says. Adhiktaraha klesha. There is some klesha on the path of, on any path for that matter, transcendental. But a lot of klesha is there on impersonal path because avyakta gati. The object of meditation is avyakta. It is very difficult to meditate on that. Deha naturally, very nicely, happily they are able to meditate on a savishesh rupa, a form which is with the qualities, like Krishna's transcendental form, so beautiful, to meditate on Radha Krishna, so nice. But the impersonalist, he cannot meditate on such beautiful forms because no form, no taste, no color, nothing. In fact, whatever he imagines, he has to give up that imagination also. From Savikalpa Samadhi, he has to go to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Even the thought is material. So he can't even think. So Krishna says, Avyakta hi gatir dukkham. It's a great path of great klesha actually. You meditate, aham brahmasmi. Whatever you think is material actually. You can't even think. The way, till the time thought is there, it's a mundane thing. Like that. So that's why it's a simply wastage of time like that. Of course, it's a bona fide path if it is Brahmavad and all that, but Krishna is talking about the difficulty in Abhideya itself. And then after that also, what is the Gati? Gati can also mean the destination of Vyakta. Then also it is impersonal Brahma only. There is no reciprocation. So your progress is difficult and your destination is also difficult. Your abhideya is also difficult and your prayojan is also not supreme. It's sort of inferior, like that. So that's why this path is actually meant for very, very, it's very misery giving. It's very much misery producing. Dehavadbhir avapete dukkham eva. Krishna says actually they only achieve great distress in this particular path, that way. So fine. So the forms of Lord, they are the one, the form of the Lord is actually superior to Brahma Jyoti, and that's why the devotee wants to worship all these forms. So Prabhupada quotes also Deeparchideva Dashantaram Abhyupetya. All these forms are equally potent. So many different forms of Supreme Lord incarnations, and there are devotees of all these incarnations where they worship these forms and they achieve their desired ipsita, desired whatever is their goal, motivation, they achieve that particular thing. So this is the point. Yeah. Further, Prabhupada also bases on Srila Jiva Goswami commentary. He says, in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is made clear that supreme truth is eternally uncontaminated by material touch. Dhamna svena sada nirasta kohakam is what he is referring to. So nirasta kuhakam, in Supreme Lord's form there is no maya. Sara kuhak nirast hua hai. Meaning it is free from all matter, free from all ignorance. Also it means, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur there gives meaning as nirasta kuhakam means it is free from all false arguments. It is self-effulgent truth. There is no more speculation about absolute truth is that, absolute truth is this. So kuhaka means word jugglery, or kuhaka means speculation. So Prabhupada says there is no jugglery of words. That is referring to that nirasta kuhakam, like that. All these forms are transcendental, free from any word jugglery. Otherwise, so much word jugglery happens in impersonal path, right? You see how they talk about, you don't have to do any inquiry because there is nothing to be inquired. There is only you. So Athato Brahma Jidnyasa also doesn't mean anything for them actually. They say even that sutra is not needed. Vedanta Sutra, first Sutra, Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. No Brahma Jidnyasa needed because there is only Brahma. So kisko je inquiry karni hai? There's a lot of jugglery goes on. People like sometimes such stuff. But then it is insubstantial. It is not very wise. All these things that way. So Prabhupada also brings up this point. You see, the particular form of the Lord exhibited to a devotee is not mundane, even though the devotee may be full of material desires, nor it is manifested under the influence of material energy as is foolishly considered by impersonalism. Why does he bring this point of the devotee may be full of material desires? Like that. Why does he bring up this point? That even though devotee may be full of desires, but then still that form, is the one which should be worshipped, and that form is the one which should be accepted. So it is based upon Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary, where Jiva Goswami says that Brahma is thinking himself to be a Sakam Bhakta, because he wants to create the universe. So he says that actually I worshipped you by Srishti Kamana. Still you manifested in front of me. That is such a great mercy of you. I worshipped you because I wanted to know how to create this particular universe. Srishti kamanaya tadrish upasana kartrina. Swasya swakamatveti. Although I am actually a Sakam Bhakta who worshipped you with a desire to create universe, still actually you appeared. तादृश तद उपकार, आपका इतना बड़ा उपकार है मेरे ऊपर, that although I was with this do pratyupkar, actually I don't have any samarthya, any potency to do pratyupkar. I just offer my obeisances unto you. That's why नमः अनुविधेम है ना वो, तस्मै नमो भगवते अनुविधेम. मैं एक्चुअली आपको केवल नमस्कार करता हूँ क्योंकि ऐसे सकाम मेरे जैसे भक्त को भी आपने दर्शन दे दिया, तो व्हाट टू स्पीक ऑफ दोज हु आर निष्कामास, लाइक दैट ही इज सेइंग. So who will not worship you in this world, my Lord? Even for sakam desire, you are ready to fulfill the desires of sakam personalities. So what to speak of those who are nishkama? How much you will be pleased with them, like that. So I am unable to express my gratitude. So I just may offer my obeisances unto your Supreme Lord. So this emotional aspect is there within his actually speaking what he is speaking this way, like that. And that's why he feels that if Lord is ready to bestow his mercy even on sakam bhaktas, akamo sarvakamo mokshkamo dhar, then who will else in this world you want to worship, he is saying. If this Lord is ready to do bestow mercy even on sakam bhaktas, then where you want to go, which form you want to take shelter of unnecessary? This is the only form, like that, whom you should take shelter of. And that's why bahirmukhan nindati, जो बहिर्मुख है ना, जो इस फॉर्म से वंचित है, they don't want to worship this form, he nindati, he criticizes them, saying नरक भाग भी, अरे ये तो सब नरक जाने के काबिल है, these are all qualified residents for hell, like that, because anadritah, because they don't respect your form, like that. Very unfortunate, he says that actually this way. इतनी बड़ी कृपा, who is there in this world who, in spite of you being a mokshkami or sakami or being a kami, he is ready to bestow all those purusharthas, with whom you approach, like that. So who else is to be worshipped? This kind of nature is not there in Brahman, he says. Brahman is not in this particular fashion. You approach, with a particular motivation only to Brahma, and that Brahman is also, it is not reciprocal. There is no reciprocation per se, because it is impersonal feature that way. So like that, so nicely he is expressing this, his desires. Okay, we go ahead. Very beautiful verse now, text 5. ये तु त्वदीय चरणाम्बुजकोश गन्धम् जिघ्रन्ति कर्ण विवरै श्रुतिवातनीतम् भक्त्या चरणः परया च तेषाम् नापैशिनाथ हृदयाम्बुरुहात् स्वपुंसाम्. Yes. Please read translation.
O my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound to the holes of the ears, accept your devotional service. For them you are never separated from the lotus of their hearts.
Yes, thank you. So, he, in this way he is glorified, and he stated his resolve that how one should worship this form only, like that. But Jiva Goswami gives a very nice akshep here. He says that, but as far as pure devotees are concerned, what is their purusharth? Oh Lord, you hear. Two word is here differentiating. But by saying that, but he is telling, okay, you can be worshipped for all various purusharthas, dharmartha, kama, moksha, whatever. But oh Lord, those who are your pure devotees, their only purusharth is this. And he is speaking this particular verse, like that. तेषां त्वच्चरणारविंदम एव पुरुषार्थः स्यात्. अरे उन शुद्ध भक्तों का तो केवल आपके चरणारविंद ही पुरुषार्थ है, like that. यतः त्वामपि तां तथा मन्यसे, and you also accept them as your only desire. Not only these pure devotees accept you as only purushartha, but you also accept them as your only destination, your only desire, your only association. तो ये परस्पर वशीकारः सूचितः. Actually, pure devotees, they have single most desire for Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord desires their association only. Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam tuham, like that. So that is spoken in this particular verse, Srila Jiva Goswami says, and that tu is differentiating everything. By saying tu, he says, अरे भाई लेकिन शुद्ध भक्तों का तो पुरुषार्थ केवल आपके चरणाम्बुज है. Like that he is saying. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says next two verses are going to talk about that actually how there are Gyanis which worship Nirvishesh Rupa and Bhaktas who worship the Savishesh Rupa, but out of them, the Bhaktas are most dear and superior. This is explained in these two verses, like that. Fine, you spoke about all the Purusharthas and this and that, fine, but then who are the best? So best category is Jnani and Bhaktas, and in that also best category is Bhaktas, because they are the worshippers of you with a pure desire. Just they are interested in the lotus feet of, aroma of your lotus feet, like that. So that's the point with which this verse is being spoken, like that. Yetu tvadiya charanambuja koshagandham. But, O Lord, those pure devotees who jigranti, who smell, who accept the fragrance of what? Tvadiya charanambuja koshagandham, the fragrance of your lotus feet, just like lotus has a fragrance, right? Inside lotus, you have that honey. It's a very fragrant lotus, just as how bees are attracted to that. Similarly, these are the pure devotees, these are the bees which are attracted to the lotus feet, the gandha, the aroma of your lotus feet, which is brought by karna vivaraihi shrutivata nitam. Very beautiful, actually, a verse worth memorizing. That these aroma, this fragrance is brought by shrutivata nitam, by the winds of the shrutis. Shruti here means the Vedic scripture, Shruti Veda. Vashruti Shravan Bhakti, Vishwanath Chakravarti says. It can mean the topics of Lord's glories. So they are compared to the winds. The topics of Lord, the scriptures, they are compared to the winds which bring the fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord. And that is smelled by your pure devotees. Of course, I mean, as a cultivation, sadhakas also. It's referring to all kinds of devotees. But especially, Paraya Bhaktya is referring to pure devotees. Okay. So they smell the fragrance of your lotus feet through what? Karna vivaraihi. It is not nasika vivaraihi. इस सुगंध को सूंघने के लिए आपके पास कान होने चाहिए, ना कि नाक. So by these holes of the ears, they smell the fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord, brought forth, flowing in through the wind of scriptures. What a poetic way to describe this. Very nice. And how do you reciprocate with them? This is how they reciprocated with you. But what is your reciprocation? Bhaktya grihita charanaha paraya cha tesham. So paraya bhaktya, by that shuddha bhakti, you become so captivated by them. Grihita charanaha. Actually, Bhagwan ko pakad liya unhone. Bhagwan ke charan kamal pakad liye. By that great attachment to hearing, they catch hold of the Lord's lotus feet. And na paishi, he is not able to leave them. Na paishi, na apaishi. You then never leave the heart of these devotees. Purohat na paishi he natha swapumsam. So you are such swapumsam, your own devotees like that. You never ever leave the lotus heart of such devotees, because you are captivated there by the parabhakti, by the pure devotional service, by the shuddha bhakti that they are rendering, like that. So, like that, the verse is speaking. So, Prabhupada here, primarily he speaks on the basis of Vishwanath Chakravarti and Jiva Goswami, as he does always. So, first, Jiva Goswami, yellow colored Jiva Goswami's commentary is basing. So, you see very clearly he is talking about Jiva Goswami's aksheva that he raises. For the pure devotee of the Lord, there is nothing beyond the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord knows that such devotees do not wish anything more than that. The word tu specifically establishes this fact. So this is based upon Srila Jiva Goswami's point, commentary, that yes, they are distinguished by saying that tu, their purushartha is only your lotus feet. And how You also reciprocate is the next line. The Lord also does not wish to be separated from lotus hearts of those pure devotees. Means Lord's remembrance is constantly there in their heart. They never forget the Supreme Lord for a moment. That knowledge, that absorption in Lord's Nam, Rupa Guna Leela, it's constantly there in their heart. That is the point. Right? Then he says further, because the Lord does not wish to separate himself from hearts of such pure devotees, it is understood that they are specifically dearer to him than the impersonalist. Ye ho gaya akshep of Vishwanath Chakravarti. And that's what he said in the akshep, right? Meaning the first statement introducing, saying that these two verses talk about how impersonalists, or rather bhaktas, are more dear, they are dearer to the Lord than the impersonalists. So that's what Prabhupada is referring here. They are specifically dear than impersonalists, that way. Okay, Shrutivata now. The relationship of the pure devotees with the Lord develops because of devotional service to the Lord on the authentic basis of Vedic authority. Shrutivata. That description of Lord's Nama Rupa Guna Leela, which is compared to fragrance, is not some whimsical description. ऐसे किसी ने उठ के चालू कर दिया, I feel Krishna is like that. I feel Krishna, not like mundane speculators. It is based on Vedic authority. Shrutivata. Shruti Veda. Ved के आधार पे होना चाहिए वो description. So Shabda Pramanya, meaning the Shabda, the Vedic sound is the basis of all Shravanam. Scriptures like Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, all the bona fide scriptures. So they are the source of actually knowledge about spiritual life and knowledge about Krishna's Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Otherwise, there are so many people who take spiritual life so cheaply, right? They don't want to study Shastra. They don't want to, they just want to talk their own things, whatever, like that. So whatever we speak should be on the basis of Shastra, no. Realizations are also by practicing something which is based on Shastra. Realizations are not devoid of Shastra. They are not having Siddhant Virod aspect of Shastra, like that. So that's why it is very important that first we understand end-to-end Siddhanta, hear the different opinions of, the Acharyas, Prabhupada, very nicely, scrutinizingly. And then we are able to talk about the subject matter with proper Siddhanta, like that. So very important. Shrutivata Nitam. Even although the verse is talking about pure devotees, they also hear descriptions of Supreme Lord based upon the Shrutivata Nitam, upon the Vedic scriptures, the authority of the Vedic scriptures. Such pure devotees are not mundane sentimentalists, but are factually realists because their activities are supported by Vedic authorities who have given oral reception to the facts mentioned in Vedic literatures. So point is, yes, bhakti is not about some mundane sentimental speculation. No, it is thoroughly based upon Shastra. That's why Jiva Goswami speaks so much about Shastriya Shraddha. Even in Anyabhilashita Shunyam, in explanation of that, he says, actually we need a thorough knowledge of Bhajaniya Tattva Sambandhi Anusandhana. Bhajaniya Tattva ka gyan bahut zaruri hai. Like that. So that's the point. Otherwise, Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Haikantiki Harer Bhaktir Utpataya Eva Kalpate. It will become Utpata, like that, all speculative ideas and all that. So Praman is very important. Praman, Jiva Goswami is establishing whole Pramanya in Tattva Sandarbha, and then especially about Srimad Bhagavatam being the highest Pramana, like that. So this Shravanam is very, very glorified, and Shravanam is a big topic in itself, right? Bhagavatam, so many places, hundreds of verses glorifying Shravanam. How devotees always eager for Shravanam. Na kamaye natha tadapyaham kvachit na yatra yushmat charanam bujasava. He says that Prithu Mahattamantar Dhayan Mukhachuto Vidhastva Karna Yutam Eshamevara. He says, give me thousands, 10,000s, millions. Ayutam, Karna, Ayutam. uh, give me millions of years by which I can hear Krishna Katha. Tunde Tandavini Ratin Bitunate. I am just ending. It's the last part of this verse. I'll just end in 2 minutes. So it's very important. Nivrutta Tarshe Rupagiya Manad, if you see the commentary of that verse also, Jeev Goswami says that Sadhak Bhaktas Shravanasya Eva Pradhanyat. He says for pure devotees, Ganasya Eva Pradhanyat. Ganasya, meaning actually pure devotees take great delight in speaking Krishna Katha. Not only speaking, they take delight in hearing also. But he says as far as pure devotees are concerned, Ganasya Pradhanyam, meaning actually they should be speaking. Their hearts are so much flooded with bhakti that they should be speaking. But sadhakas, he said, Shravanasya Pradhanyam Darshitaha. Bhavaushadhat, on that he comments, and he says that that's why in the life of sadhaka, Shravan is very prominent. Shravanasya Pradhanyam Darshitam, like that. And of course, for preaching sake, we should also speak what we hear. Not that only liberated souls should speak, then preaching will become very difficult. But point is the pradhanya. We are talking about pradhanya. A sadhaka, he speaks and he also hears. But there is a great pradhanya in his life of hearing also, especially from pure devotees, like that. So that is the point. Finally, Prabhupada talks also on parabhakti, that how this parabhakti is actually the pure love of Godhead, spontaneous love of Godhead. So he says that this Shuddha Bhakti is what holds Krishna. Naturally, that's the characteristic of Bhava Bhakti, right? Bhava Bhakti only can capture the Lord. Only after Bhava Bhakti, Lord is captured within the heart. In terms of, you understand, I mean, in terms of those specific points of how Lord never ever leaves the remembrance in such a devotee's heart. So the point is that this parabhakti is being glorified over here. Devotees are like those bees, bhrangas, which are eager to taste the nectar of Lord's lotus feet. That's what. So that is the point which is spoken in this verse. Okay, so I will stop here. So I'll go with a bit more speed tomorrow and day after tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, these 25 prayers, at least I will take some time to explain. And then we can go fast, then no issues. Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhu. So I stop here. If any of you have services, please proceed. And if there are any questions, maybe which you want to ask directly, you may ask. Or then we can take them tomorrow, whatever you wish. So, Yugal Shampru, what we should do? We should end here or we should take some questions?
Depending on if devotee wants to ask questions, then they can ask.
Okay. So anybody question on today's topic, these 5 verses that we discussed, you can ask. Then tomorrow I'll begin from 6th verse. Yes. I think it is clear to everybody. Right? More or less.
Krishna. Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhu.
that shloka Prabhuji is asking, Sundar Shampoo is asking to requote that shloka Shavanasya Pradhan. Can you quote that shloka?
See, actually that verse is nothing but 10.1.4, Nivrutta Darshe Rupagiya Manat. But in that, Srila Jeev Goswami has written commentary. In his Laghu Vaishnav Toshini, he has commented in this way, saying that Nivrutta Tarshe Rupagiya Manat is for liberated souls, but Bhavaushadhat is for Bhakti Ichu Sadhakas. So he says Bhavaushadhat shows the Pradhanta of Shravanam, while Upagiya Manat shows Pradhanta of speaking. So based on that, he makes a point that actually Krishna Katha's real adhikar is, really speaking, only pure devotee can speak. But obviously for preaching sake and by empowerment of devotees, then sadhakas should also speak. Naturally, doubt about it. But the point is, he says that what is the real qualification actually? Ganasya pradhanyam is in the life of pure devotees. And Shravanasya pradhanya is in the life of sadhakas. So this is a commentary by Jiva Goswami. The verse is Nivritta Tarshe Rupa Giyavana.
Yes, Prabhuji is asking, Sundar Shampoo is asking that you can quote that shloka, sadhana bhakta shavana eva pradhanas darshitas, that shloka.
No, but that's not a verse. I'm saying
Yeah,
that
that
only.
sentence,
That is
that
a
sentence.
commentary.
That sentence you can quote.
Sentence, okay. Sentence is, he has written a big commentary and he says, Ganasya eva pradhanyam darshitam. गान का ही प्राधान्य दर्शित किया गया है. गान मतलब स्पीकिंग, सिंगिंग द ग्लोरीज. गानस्य एव प्राधान्यम दर्शितम फॉर प्योर डिवोटीज. एंड देन ही सेड श्रवणस्य एव प्राधान्यम दर्शितम फॉर साधकस. ही सेज, सो दीज टू ही डिफरेंशिएट्स. गानस्य प्राधान्य, गान का प्राधान्य, और श्रवण का प्राधान्य. सो ही सेज by nivrittatarshir ganasya eva pradhanyam darshitam, and by what's the next line? Bhavoshadat. Shravanasya eva pradhanyam darshitam. That's it. Like that. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Prabhuji, I had one question. Here, in the first verse, it was said in the translation, many years of penance Brahma underwent. And I don't remember exact quotations, but then somewhere it is written, it is translated as 100 years Brahma underwent tapasya, and that 100 years is 100 human years.
Yeah, last chapter itself says, na, Varsha Shatam, 100 years.
Yeah, so that 100 years is 100 human years, or?
Yeah, it is 100 human years.
So that appears to be very small time then. 100 human years means 1 year is just 1 second for Brahmaji. So it is 100 seconds. It's too small.
Actually, 100 years there, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that it is as per the calculation of humans. But see, when Brahmaji also comes down, see, this is not talking about time in Satyaloka, no? When Brahmaji comes below, down, Brahmaji also takes up that particular realm of time. Meaning, if suppose Brahma is talking on the earthly planetary system and he says that, okay, I am thinking for a moment. So he is thinking for a moment means he is really thinking for a moment of this world. He is not thinking his moment, like that.
Yeah.
So demigods, they manage their time and space as per the realm Prabhu. Meaning even demigods' size also changes as per the realms. See, this is explained in Puranas that when they are doing some activities like Samudra Manthan and all. So how is that they are able to lift such big Mandar mountain and all that? What should be their size to lift up Mandar mountain and all? So what happens at such times is there is dilation in space and time both. So their size also they increase, and the time also they are able to match with whatever is the time of that particular era. So when Brahma does tapasya, which is 100 years of human calculation, Vishwanath says that is a time, or that kind of duration in which he experiences that much time. And that's why Suchirat is written. You understand?
Yeah, probably, but you explained about this different zone he came into. But that time the creation was not yet happened. The earthly the planetary systems were not created. It was just a lotus flower and Garbhodaka ocean, that much.
Correct. But then how do you say that he is applying Satya Yuga time also? What makes you think like that? Yes. If there is creation only, right, then how do you even say that he is applying Satya Yuga time? Why not Jana Loka time? You are getting my question?
Yeah, whenever the person is being quoted, then and any other person is not existing that time, any other loka is not existing that time, then it is obvious that the calculation of time is according to the person. Why will be reference to a time of someone who is not yet existing?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not like that. You will have to see the time, that particular time's explanation, what it is. If it is 100 celestial years, then you say 100 celestial years he did the tapa, and his experience is of 100 celestial years. If you say he did tapa of 100 human years, then he did the tapa of 100 human years, like that. You see Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he says there very clearly, 100 human years, he says that.
Yes, Prabhuji, the translation is clear. It is 100 human years. But I was just, I'll just see, like there are some other places I'll have to see, like I don't remember exactly. So there it is told 100 celestial years, something like that also.
I don't remember that reference. If it's there, yes, Prabhu, you can show
I'll just
maybe.
check, Prabhuji, like, or maybe I'm confusing some other thing. But even if like the point is that if 100 human years, it appears to be like 100 seconds for Brahmaji. Like that was the point.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that it cannot be taken like that, 100 seconds, because you are applying Satyuga timeline to this. I mean, this particular austerity. When Satyuga itself, I mean, he is not on Satyaloka, neither he is on, neither it is a particular planet on which he is there and all that. So to apply a particular time dimension there is not a very logical thing, because he is not on Satyaloka that way.
Yes,
See, people take up the time dilation where they go. See, you imagine somebody like Kakudmi. He goes to Satyaloka and he spends some time with Brahma there. How is that this person, if he is from the Earth planet, he should die there in a second, no?
Yeah.
Why is that he is able to stay that much time over there? You are understanding this?
Yes.
So that's what happens actually.
Okay.
So that's what happens. That time dilation which is there, here, they are able to switch to that time dilation. That is how typically demigod do.
Yes, that's understandable about time dilation and everything. But again, as I also already mentioned, there is nothing else existing that time. So, okay, but anyways, it's clear from the translation, it is 100 human years. That is clear.
Human years. Okay. Take. In case I hear something more on this, I'll let you know.
Yes.
Sure.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Guruji, you said about Shravan Pradhanya for the sadhakas, but at the same time we hear about this, that Jare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Updesh. And if you just keep hearing, speak it out, it will become all constipated. So you should speak out also. So when these acharyas give such kinds of statements, so how we should basically analyze them and apply them, because we are actually, these are the acharyas only, and they are speaking this, so they must be giving the balance also about that. So how, as a reader, how we should see this kind of statements?
Actually, that's what acharyas think that you understand the word pradhanya. So they feel that you understand that word called pradhanya. That way. So Shravanasya eva pradhanyam darshitam. Where is the question of then just hearing and just hearing? When you say pradhanta, you don't delete everything else, no, right? So sadhaka in his life, he focuses on getting substantial instructions, very much in his life, and then he also speaks Krishna Katha. Then he also shares it. He has to share it. I did say that particular thing. But if in sadhaka's life focus is not on hearing and applying, his preaching also will not be much effective like that. Oftentimes there is a lot of enthusiasm to speak, but person may not hear enough. So then his speech also has a limited potency only. Even in terms of the depth of understanding, and even in terms of the effect that it can cause, it will have some limitation like that. So a sadhaka who is hearing a lot and he's also trying to apply it in life, his heart will be something like spilling over to also share it with others. Otherwise, and that's natural preaching. Actually, that's what is preaching. Preaching is his heart is so much spilling over with Krishna Katha that he can't stay, but he has to share it with others. That way. So that is ideal preaching. But if we wait for that particular thing, it may never happen in our case, because how much do we take in itself, right? So we are also encouraged that whatever we learned, each one teach one while being taught by one. So we also share with others. But it is surely a principle, very fundamental principle in sadhan bhakti, where one focuses on hearing from Guru, Vaishnavas, and applying it in his life. And that is like a primary focus as a sadhaka in his life. And then in order to share that knowledge which he has heard, he also assists in preaching. And see, even preaching for that matter is one way, Shravanam. I mean, I am not addressing that point, that is agreed, because when you are preaching, you are also making yourself hear. But I am saying, even in terms of very crystal clear guideline, a sadhak is surely given, he has to make it a primary thing in his life to hear instructions, apply them in life, and then share the Krishna consciousness with his whatever knowledge and instructions that he has based on that way. So a focus emphasis on preaching is no way taking away the aspect of hearing and putting it in practice away. No. If that is happening, then that kind of preaching will not survive also much. It will soon run out of its steam that way. So point is, yeah, both the aspects should be there like that. But pradhanta is of substantially hearing. See, I am not again saying also that it is very simple calculation in terms of this much time to hear and this much to speak. No, you may have quality hearing, but your focus on that quality hearing and applying it in your life is so much like that. So that proves that Shravanasya Pradhanya is there. So it is not a very gross thing only in terms of hearing these many number of hours and all that. No, I'm saying overall focus of a sadhaka is very much there in applying his life, whatever he is hearing. And then he preaches that also, so that his precept in turn makes a practice better that way. So I hope that is clarifying something.
Thank you, Guru.
Yeah. Okay, fine. What is this Mahavaikuntha? Mahavaikuntha is a transcendental abode of Supreme Lord beyond the material world. Okay. So Mahavaikuntha, whenever it is referred in Shastra, I am reading the questions from chat. They are the question. Mahavaikuntha is always referred to as the transcendental abode, the abode of Lord Narayana within the Mahavaikuntha's. So that is known as Mahavaikuntha, Supreme Lord's abode, Narayana. The abode of other personalities like Shirodakshai Vishnu or like that, they have other names like Shvetadvipa and all that. While Mahavaikuntha is always the transcendental abode beyond the material sky. So it can refer to Lord Narayan's abode in Mahavaikuntha, in Vaikuntha, that way. Or sometimes it is referred to some other planets of spiritual world also. But it is transcendental, that is for sure, that way. Another question is, elsewhere Brahma is mentioned to do tapasya for 100 celestial years. See, basically Brahmaji's tapasya, which is he does in after every night, you will find different references are there. So I'm not saying that 100 celestial years is not there. I'm saying this particular incident is 100 human years, where there is 1,000 years tapasya also. You remember in the first kalpa, Brahma kalpa, Brahmaji performed 1,000 years tapasya. Then another place it is 100 celestial years. Here it is 100 human years. So based upon which kalpa we are referring, there could be different calculations of Brahma's tapasya. That is not a problem. But I'm saying this particular tapasya, I was just referring to that. So you change the kalpa and there could be different descriptions, no problem. So that should be okay. Point is, Brahma has to do tapasya before every creation. That is there. That is the point. Then only he is empowered to do creation. So creation aise nahi hota time pass. You have to do some tapasya, then only he is empowered to do creation. That's the point. Yes. Okay. Fine, Prabhus. I thank you all very much for your patient listening. We'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Granthra Srimad Bhagavat ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
हरि हरि बोल।